Get more on all of this now with Sami al-Arian. He's the director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. He's here with us in the studio. Welcome again, Sami. So we heard from our correspondent there saying Trump's tone has changed, but the Iranian government and the people of the country are still on high alert. And one would think that, as he said, just 6 months ago, there was the 12-day war. The people certainly have something to be concerned about, despite some people actually calling for foreign intervention.
Correct, but the main reason Trump backed off is because his plan backfired. He thought that he can actually have a regime change. I mean, that is the aim of Netanyahu and Trump right now. They had this aim back in June last year through a decapitation campaign. That failed. This time around, they're trying to manipulate the currency, and that started on December 28th, was going to be followed by putting tariff about 25% in order to actually collapse the Iranian economy. But more importantly, they were trying to have agitators, thousands of them. They were provided with Starlink terminals, and the Iranians were able to find our way to actually capture most of these people and to confiscate almost 90% of these terminals. So the whole thing faded away. That would have been the reason why he would have interfered militarily. Donald Trump wants to change the regime on the cheap by not actually involving American troops, like how they did it in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they failed miserably. So he's trying to follow the Israeli lead of trying to do a regime change through these kind of tactics, but all of them have failed.
And of course, many Americans who voted for Trump don't want to see the country getting involved in any sort of other war, especially in the Middle East, where their intervention in the past has failed. When we talk about regime change, though, in Iran, the type of change that the Americans and the Israelis would like to see, what does it actually look like, especially for our viewers who may not understand really? You know, at the top you've got Ali Khamenei, then you've got the Revolutionary Guards, then you've got President Pezeshkian. If the regime itself was to change, do all of those people have to go and a completely new government come in, or is it just seeing Ali Khamenei go and some of the top commanders of the IRGC?
Well, the Americans would like to see change in Iranian foreign policy with regards to three things. One is the enrichment of uranium, because they know this could potentially lead to nuclear power, who they are totally against, so they don't want to stop completely any kind of enrichment of uranium. And secondly, they would like to stop the missile program. Iran has a very advanced missile program in which it cannot only just reach Israel, but even beyond. And they want to make sure that Iranian will never have that capability. And they have tasted this back in June. But more importantly, also, they want to stop their support of the resistance movements, particularly in Palestine and Lebanon. And since the regime refuses to actually negotiate these kind of things, that they are willing to negotiate the fact that they cannot produce nuclear weapons, to give guarantees and so on and so forth, but not the fact that they can enrich uranium, and the United States and Israel refuses this. So they would like to change everybody who's not going to play along with their dictates, whether it's the leader, Khamenei, whether it's the Revolutionary Guards, the government. If they can find a government that is willing to compromise on these things, they will have no problem with them. But since they have given up completely that this government is willing to negotiate on these three items, then they would like to completely change it. And that is a determination that Israel has arrived at long time ago, and now they're trying to bring along the Americans. The Americans didn't have a problem, actually, with the enrichment before. Trump scrapped that deal, back in 2018, and also they have no problem with the other items, provided that they can have an understanding with the regime. But Israel has always said so, and they have a great inroads into not only Trump but his administration, and they're trying to dictate the policy towards Iran.
Yeah, it's still a lot of factors at play. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the following days and weeks. Sami al-Arian, thank you very much for your analysis.